This tutorial will be about effects, and we'll use our previous footage from a previous lesson. So if you open up resources for tutorials, drag in your box slide if you haven't done so already, make a new comp with that like we learned last time. This is where we should be up to. Now we're going to check out the effects. So effects can be found in a couple of locations. You can go up here to effect, but you might notice they're all grayed out. That's a common problem if you haven't selected the footage you want to apply the effect to. So you can either click on your screen or you can click down here in your timeline, and this is where you can apply your effect. So I'm going to go effect, and you'll notice there's a whole list of different effects here. Okay, there's a lot, but generally speaking they've been put into subcategories based on these names. So blur and sharpen is pretty commonly used. Generate allows you to create effects out of nothing. Keying is the green screen stuff. Stylize allows for sort of additional on the top effects, some of them a little bit over the top. Time, this is where we do a lot of blurs and warping and stuff like that. Okay. To start with, we're going to go with blur and sharpen, and we're going to pick this fast blur. Okay, and you'll notice as soon as you select that, the blur options come up here on the left in the effects controls. Okay, you'll notice your project panel is still there. It's just in the background in this little tab. Click back, there's your effect controls. Okay, additionally, if you click on this little drop down arrow down here, you'll notice that now there's an effects option here. Okay, these two are already here. Effects comes in when you apply an effect. Okay, so these little stopwatches, they allow you to modify the effect throughout your timeline. So this allows you to use keyframes, and we'll do that in a minute. But to start with, here's the blur option. I'm just going to crank that up by clicking and dragging, and you'll notice that it gets more blurry on my screen. I'm just going to up this size a little bit so you can all see what's going on. Right now, this would be kind of cool for sort of a fade-in intro. Obviously, watching this thing just go around blurred out like this would be pretty useless. So what we're going to do is we're going to start it at, I don't know, 53, and I'm going to check this stopwatch right here. Okay, that means I'm going to allow the blurriness to get modified. Okay, from this point, 53, and you'll notice in my timeline down here, I'm right at the beginning at 53. I'm going to scroll this thing across by clicking and dragging it, and I reckon that's about right, about to there. Doesn't really matter if you're not perfectly accurate, just give it a little bit. And now what we're going to do is click on this blurriness option, and we're going to turn it all the way back down to 0. Okay, and what you'll notice is that it's going to progressively blur in. Okay. So if I press on the play up at the top here, we have a bit of a blur-in intro. Right, now I'm going to look at the generate category in the effects controls. Once I click on it, effects generate. This one will overwrite your footage and create some kind of effect in the background. So lightning bolts, bursts of light, lens flares, which is like the effect of light reflecting off of a camera lens, ramp, which is a gradient or a circle gradient. These things are all good, but watch what happens if I click ramp. It overwrites all my footage and I just get this in the background. So it's usually press undo. Best to go layer, new, solid. Okay, pretty much we need to create a new layer for it to overwrite. So it doesn't matter what color it is because it's going to get overwritten. You'll notice it automatically gets made the same size as your footage. Press OK. Now I've got a black solid on top of my box slide, which is why you can't see the box slide anymore. But now if we go effect, generate, and we're going to pick the lightning because who doesn't like lightning? You'll notice it overwrites the black, and here's my effect. And I've still got the stuff in the background. So you'll notice there's a whole bunch of different settings here. Turbulence and forking. These things are, the amount of additional forks that it gets. I'm just going to reset that though because I kind of like it how it is. What we're going to do now is keyframe it so that it looks like it's shooting me in the head with a lightning bolt. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is change it from direction, because at the moment if I grab the two the starting and end point, you notice that it doesn't really strike. It just keeps going past this last point here. So if I go up here from direction, change it to strike, now it'll go from here and strike onto here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually keyframe this in reverse. So I'm going to move this slider to about here. This is where I'm going to get struck with the lightning bolt. So I'm going to grab the striking end, put it right on the back of my head, and I'm going to grab this shooting end, and I'm going to put it out of the screen. I'm going to put it up here. I might zoom out slightly so I can get a little bit more angle on that lightning bolt. There we go. There I am getting struck in the head with a lightning bolt, but it doesn't look very real unless I'm, actually getting hit with a lightning bolt. So at the moment it's just solid. What we're going to do is going to tick this direction keyframe stopwatch up here. Okay, now we're going to go backwards. So we're going to go with, we're going to go back maybe 3 frames, and then we're going to move this point where it hits me, and then we're going to move it out of the screen, completely out of the way, and we're going to move this one up as well so that there isn't any blue in the background, hopefully. That's about right. And now you should see it. The lightning bolt comes down and hits me in the head. Very good. Okay, but obviously it needs to disappear as well. So after it hits me, we're going to go 1 more frame forward. What we can do as well in under effects, on the black solid, that is, effects, lightning, you'll notice that the keyframes come up. They're these little diamonds. So you can see here, the first one is where it is out of the screen. If I scroll across, this is where it hits me, and if I go forward maybe 1 more or 2, that's where I want my next frame, where the lightning bolt rears back up into the air. So I'm going to click back on my lightning, and I'm going to move this out of the frame again. Okay, so now it comes down and whacks me. Doesn't look amazing, you could position it much better and it wouldn't look like it's bending, but that's going to have to do for now, because I don't want to do it again. Alright, the last effect I'm going to show you is going to be applied on the box slide WMV footage, and it's going to be a stylize effect. Now I've only shown you 3 of hundreds of effects, so the only way to learn the other ones is to mess around with them. Pretty much that's how you learn any effects in this program. You just give it a shot, see what it looks like, have a play with it. It's usually the best way. I'm going to pick Find Edges. Okay, and it creates this kind of edge detection stylized look. I'm going to play around with this. So in the Find Edges option up here, we're going to click on Invert so that it goes black. And what I want to do is actually make the footage start normal and then turn into this later. So what we're going to do is we're going to just turn on Blend with Original, which is this option up here, and we're going to crank it up to the max. And we're going to, after the lightning bolt hits, whack, like from last time, here is where we're going to start turning it into that style. So we're going to click on the stopwatch, and then we are going to go to here, and we're going to probably about there, pretty much from, is about halfway there, and we're going to keep going across till right when he gets near the end, and we're going to have that blending down to, we'll go with 15%. That'll do. And you can see it drawing itself on there progressively. Alright, so I lied. I'm actually going to show you one more. If we go back to the very beginning, actually we'll go to maybe here while the screen is quite clear. I'm going to show you one called Change to Color. So if you go Effects, Color Corrections, there's lots of ones here that are pretty good. These ones are good for fixing up footage that just looks washed out or kind of grey. But we're going to look for one that's a little bit more drastic, which is Change to Color. Okay, and this allows us to pick a color on our screen and then turn it into something else. Now, it's not always perfect because there's lots of colors in other colors, and so sometimes it sort of crosses over. But for all intents and purposes, click this From option here with the pick, the eyedrop. Go down to the yellow boots. Click on the yellow boots. You'll notice it's taken a little bit of color from the pants and a little bit around because there's slight tinges of yellow. Then we're going to change it to a different color. So I'm going to go with green because who doesn't like green boots? Bright green as well. Press OK, and you'll notice that my yellow boots are now green. Okay, and you'll notice the pants are a little bit more green, but you can't really tell. And yeah, so now we've got green boots. There we have a new color, and you'll notice it'll stay with the clip the whole way through. So his boots I stay in green the whole way until it turns into edge detection. Alrighty, that's effects. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial.